And welcome back to Talk Radio for the rest of us, the place where smart people get the news. The Thom Hartmann radio program. Governor Don Siegelman is with us. DonSiegelman.com, his website. Governor, welcome to the program.
Hey, Tom, thank you so much. Glad to be with you today.
I am glad to hear your voice. I understand you just lost your appeal, and I was a little concerned that they may snatch you away like they did at the beginning. Tell us what happened.
Well, we had I thought made a very strong and convincing argument to a three-judge panel of the 11th Circuit. They ruled against us, and of course I am disappointed, but not disillusioned or not discouraged, and we will continue the fight, and we will win in the end.
Are you going to take this?
I don't know how long the end is, but we're going to win in the end.
Right. Is there a higher court that you can take this to? Or
well, yeah, we will. My lawyers are looking at the options, and one of them is to ask the 11th Circuit, the entire 11th Circuit, to hear our case,
right?
Which we think we will do. It was heard by a three-judge panel, and we would like for it to be heard now by the other 8, I believe, is remaining judges.
Were those three judges, by any chance, George W. Bush appointees, or do you think that there's anything political in this, or was it just the technicalities?
I can't
get into the legal. Yeah, I understand.
Yeah, I don't want to get into the legal and political stuff. But,
well,
with regard to the court, but I can get into the legal and political stuff with regard to Karl Rove.
Yes. Well, let's start there. In fact, let's just start at the beginning. If you'd give the backstory to this to our listeners, because I know we've picked up a few radio stations since the first time. It seems like it was a year ago or so that we began really, talking with you frequently about this and pushing this story.
It was about a year ago when you and I first started, and I think we stayed on the phone about an hour that day.
Yep. So let's recap it real quickly. What happened here?
Well, recapping quickly, I was right after I endorsed Al Gore for president. I was first governor to endorse him in 1999. An investigation was started against me by the Attorney General, who was Karl Rove's client. Later, that investigation was kicked into high gear by the U.S. Attorney appointed by George W. Bush, whose husband is the closest political and personal friend to Karl Rove. His name is Bill Conyers. Conyers served as chief of staff of the NRC, ran the ground troops for the '92 Bush Quail campaign, and is described by the chairman of the Republican Party as a political paratrooper, somebody that we drop into places where we need something fixed. Well, it was his wife that started the federal investigation and brought me to trial 1 month before the Democratic primary. It was, we have, of course, learned that Karl Rove's partner and one of Jack Abramoff's employees were involved in stealing my 2002 election. And we've since learned that Jack Abramoff, who's Karl Rove's bagman, put in $13 million through Ralph Reed into Alabama to defeat me, beginning in 1998 and again in 2002. I have been, I attracted their attention because I have had a number of different political battles with Karl Rove going back over 15 years. And Rove came to Alabama in 1992. He and the husband of my prosecutor came from Texas to Alabama, married girls in Alabama, and Karl Rove built his home on the Gulf Coast and started running campaigns out of Alabama beginning in 1994. And we have crossed swords ever since. I think I drew his attention when I started putting out feelers about running for national office, entering some Democratic primaries, and in the 2003-2004 cycle. But regardless, that's pretty much the story. I was prosecuted by the wife of my opponent's campaign manager, who's a close friend of Karl Rove, who's the U.S. attorney, and I was brought to trial 1 month before the Democratic primary. I was convicted of something that the New York Times has repeatedly said has never been a crime in America, and that is appointing a campaign contributor to an all-volunteer board. And in this case, the person I appointed had served on that board for 12 years through previous governors. The only
Republican governors, in fact.
2 Republican governors,
Yeah.
1 Democratic governor.
Yeah.
But the only testimony that they could come up with to convict me of this charge was the testimony of a felon who was plea bargaining from 40 years down to no years, who said to 60 Minutes, told 60 Minutes, when they did a show on me in February of last year, that he had to change his testimony 70 different times in order to get it right with the prosecutors before they would let him go on the stand.
Wow.
So
it boggles the mind that with that thin a case that you wouldn't win on appeal. I know you were expecting to win on appeal.
Well, I was. We also had 54 former state attorneys generals from all over the country, 54 Democratic and Republican attorneys general, who weighed in on my behalf and filed a friend of the court brief with the 11th Circuit saying that what I'd been charged with was not a crime.
Right.
And but the 11th Circuit disagreed, and so now we have to fight on from there.
Right. I saw John Conyers. Karl Rove has now agreed not to testify before an open committee as a normal human being would, but apparently he's going to do it the way that the royalty in this country does. Apparently he thinks he's the royalty.
Well, he's sure being treated that way.
Yeah, not under oath and special deposition and all this kind of stuff.
But behind closed doors with as many lawyers as he wants in the room who can object to questions, and apparently he's not even being put under oath.
That's correct. Although I did, and I read John Conyers' statement about this, and Conyers said, and good on John Conyers for pushing and at least taking the testimony.
Big supporter of John Conyers.
Yeah, but he in his public statement about it, he said, "I look forward to getting to the bottom of the the firing of these 9 U.S. attorneys." He never mentioned your case. Do you think that your case not coming up might have been part of the deal that he cut with Karl Rove?
I don't think so. I'd be shocked if that were the case. I feel so good about John Conyers and his commitment to the truth. I know that his focus is on Karl Rove, and there's no question that when you look at the big picture, the important thing is that we restore justice in this country and that we protect and preserve our democracy. And to get there, we have to discover all of the wrongs that Karl Rove was responsible for, and whether it's leading us into a war under false pretenses, or using illegal wiretaps or torture to extract statements from people, or whether it's stealing elections or using the Department of Justice as a political weapon. The American people have got to know the truth. This is a deep infection that has gone through our Department of Justice and through our Department of Defense and through other departments in this country, and we've got to get this infection out of our body politic, and that starts with bringing Karl Rove to the table and extracting the truth out of him. I would, while I'm praising John Conyers, I am also admonishing the committee that this will not be easy. Don't expect it to come fast. It won't be pretty, and the American people will not be proud of what they see if the full truth comes out. But it's got to come out for this country to be healed, for the people of this country to have faith in their justice system, in their Justice Department, and in their government again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, what do you think is the fate and future of Karl Rove at this point? I mean, he seems like he's talking about how the Democrats want to fillet him and all this kind of stuff. I mean, this is a guy who committed, in my opinion, some serious crimes against the Constitution and against the people of the United States, not to mention against you.
Well, I think, Tom, I know you picked up on this, but just reading his statement, he is trying to lay the foundation that this is politics as usual. He made the comment that the FBI bill, or the Justice Department, bears the name of the campaign manager of the Democratic president, Robert F. Kennedy. Well, he was also the Attorney General of the United States. He was also assassinated. He's trying to blur the lines by saying that it's normal for people in the White House to talk about who is the proper person to appoint to a U.S. attorney. Well, that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about firing Republicans because they would not pursue cases that would be beneficial to the election of Republicans. We're talking about instituting prosecutions against Democrats for the simple reason of trying to win elections or to gain power. And those are serious crimes against our country.
Yeah. Amen. Governor Don Siegelman, you have to check out his website, donsiegelman.com. Governor, good luck.
Hey, I need some. Thank you.
Yeah, and let me encourage all my listeners to get over to your website and toss in a little help your way.
I look forward to getting back with you. There's some more we need to talk about.
Okay, good. We'll talk again soon. Governor Don Siegelman. We'll be right back.